Hello everyone, welcome to Dhaapps once again. This is the Introduction to C course. Today we are going to learn about iterative statements and loops in C. So it often happens that suppose in a particular program, suppose this is my program. Suppose in this program we need to repeat this program again and again. So loops are basically used for this purpose only. That is to iteratively execute a particular block of instructions or a block of code, either for a condition or for a specified number of iterations. Suppose I would like to print out my name or the word hello 10 times, or suppose I need to find out the factorial of a number which is n. So in all these cases, either printing the factorial of a number or by printing my name or by hello, this particular word hello, I want to print it 20 times maybe. So for all these uses, loops are used. We will be writing the code to perform this or the code to print this only once, but the execution will be 20 times or for n. So these two are basically both are examples of loops, but at the same time, this is a conditional based loop, whereas this is a specific number of iterations based loop. As we can specify the number of iterations to be 20. Why? Because this particular number, this 20, does not have any relation with the thing that is to be printed. But here we are the number of times that the loop has to be executed. Suppose it is k, so k is directly proportional to n. I'm sorry, it's my bad handwriting. K is directly proportional to n. But here the number of times, suppose here k is equal to 20, so k can be anything, and it need not necessarily be that k should be directly proportional to n, that is the something inside, suppose hello or something like that. So it's not the case, but here it is. So this is a conditional based loop approach, whereas this is a number of iterations based approach. So basically we will find that in C we have got two types of loops: entry control loop and exit control loop. Now we will come into the details of the entry control and exit control loop in a while. For the time being, let us just see that the entry control loops are for and while, and the exit control loops are do while only. So there are two entry control loops and there is only one exit control loop. Now what is the entry control loop and what is an exit control loop and how are they interrelated and what are all these stuffs? Now let us plunge directly into that topic of classification of loops. So basically, as I have just now mentioned, there are two types of loops. There is entry controlled and exit controlled loop. So in entry control loop, before this, I would like to tell that what are the parts of a loop. I'm extremely sorry for skipping out that particular part. So every loop has actually two parts. The first part is the expression, and the next part is the body of the loop. So this expression or the text expression is a condition that needs to be checked for the loop to be executed. For the loop to be executed. So this expression, as long as this expression evaluates to true, that is expression equal to true, the loop will remain executing. And the part of the code that will be executed as the loop runs is known as the body of the loop. For the first example, that is just a minute, let me pull this up. For the first example, that is printing of the name, print hello. For the case of printing hello, this is the body of the loop. That is print hello is the body of the loop. And in the next example, the factorial of a number. Here, the multiplication of a predefined variable, suppose fact, in case of factorial, I'll just now be writing the code for it. Fact into is equal to n. This is the body of the loop. So the body of the loop is that part of the loop which gets executed again and again. Whereas the test expression, now coming to the test expression or the expression of the loop. What is expression and what is all this stuff? And let's plunge directly into that part again. So for the first example again, let's take the first example, that is printing of the hello. So here there needs to be a loop control variable, that is specifically I. So the value of I will start from 1 and will go on to 20. So until and unless this I becomes 20, it will keep on running. So the test expression I should be less than equal to 20. This is a test expression for the first loop. And for the second loop, a loop control variable, that is I, that should start from 1 and that should go on until less than equal to n. So until and unless I becomes less than equal to n, so this is actually the loop condition, the test expression. Moment this particular part in either of the examples they evaluate to false, then that loop stops. The loop starts with the initial declaration of the initial values of the loop control variables, and it ends with the loop control variable achieving a particular target or a particular point which it has to attain. And that's the objective of writing the loop. That's the objective of writing the whole code of the loop for that matter. So once this particular condition has been achieved, the loop breaks or stops. Stops. Okay. So that is all for this particular part, this theory part. So now coming again to the entry control and exit control loop. Now entry control loops are those loops in which before I enter into the execution of the body of the loop, the test expression is checked. Now let's understand it in a much better way. Suppose I want to means there is, as I have already told, that there is always a particular part that is known as the body of the loop. I'm sorry. So this is the body of the loop, maybe body of the loop. So this is the place where the test expression lies in case of an entry control loop. So this is for the first part, that is entry control loop, entry controlled. So this is the example of the entry control loop. So this is actually the test expression, that is expression, and this is the body of the loop. So the expression serves as a barrier before entering into the body of the loop. So if the program flow is coming like this, generally program flow comes from the top to bottom. So this is the traditional program flow, and so before entering into the execution of the body of the loop, the first thing that is checked is the expression, and the next part that needs to be seen is the exit control loop. Exit control loop. So in case of an exit control loop, first the loop body is executed. So if this is the body of the loop, then the test expression lies over here. This is the expression of the loop. So first, when the program flow comes like this, traditionally, first the body of the loop is executed and then the expression is checked. So even if this particular expression evaluates to false, this particular body of the loop is at least executed once. Even if this condition executes to false. Yeah, after entering into this expression, when it finds it false, it no longer goes back to run this body of the loop again. But at least once it is checked. Now coming to the categories and examples and explanation of each of the individual loops. The first loop that comes while studying a chapter on the iterative statements or looping in C is the for loop. It is one of the most important and one of the most basic loops that any C programmer needs to learn before proceeding further for any other tasks on looping. So in the for loop, we get all the so basically a loop consists of, again, a loop statement, that is apart from the body of the loop, there is a statement which allows us to run the loop, consists of three parts. The first part is the initialization of the loop control variable, initialization of the loop controls. Number 2, test expression. And number 3, the final one, is the update statement. Update statement. So these are the 3 parts that any loop, that is whenever we are constructing a loop, it should be there. Irrespective of what loop we are using an entry control or exit control. And the fourth part is the loop body. I have just now told about you all about it. So these are the 4 parts that should be present in any loop. Be it entry control, be it exit control, be it while, be it do while, be it while only, be it for, be it anything. So now here comes the speciality of the for loop. In the for loop, all the 3 parts, that is 1, 2, and 3. All the 3 parts are contained inside one single statement. That is, in just this one line, I can initialize. Suppose I is my variable, so I is equal to 0, the starting condition. Then I can say I should be less than maybe 10, that is from 0 to 9, and then I plus plus. So this can be thought of. So this is the example of the for loop. And why is an example of a for loop, and how is a for loop more efficient than any other loops? Is because we are doing all the 3 parts of the most important 3 parts of a loop. We are doing in one single line, that is at the top of the loop body. So after this, I open the second bracket, and here is the place where I'll be writing the loop body. So this is the syntax and the arrangement of a for loop. And in the for loop, we get all the 3 parts in one single statement. This is the for loop. Okay. Now, not always that all the 3 parts are compulsory. Suppose earlier in my code I have done, suppose int I is equal to 0, and then I write and then if I do like this, so I don't need to again initialize I to 0. So this is the one way I can do it. And then suppose maybe inside the loop, I have got already that if I less than 10, and then I write that exit from loop. That we will be studying in the loop control, in the control statements, that is control transfer statements, exit from loop. So in that case, I don't even require this. Okay. So, and the last part, suppose in the loop body itself I've got the updatation part, that is I plus plus. So here we don't need this also again. So in this method, we can have an empty loop over here. Okay. So that was for the for loop part, again, and the empty for loop part. And now not all the parts of a for loop are compulsory. So that was for the for loop. So that was for the for loop actually. Now coming to the next part, that is the while loop. That is the while loop is another entry control loop. Now how is it an entry control loop? What is the syntax? We will learn just right now. So in the while loop, unlike the for loop, where we can have all the 3 parts in one single statement, in a while loop, the syntax looks a lot like this: while, and then 2, that is the text expression. And then here I have got my loop body. So all the initialization and all I will be doing over here outside the loop. And in the loop body itself, I should have the update statement actually. That is the updation part. Suppose and the three, that is the loop body, and the updation part over here. Okay. So this was the example of the while loop. Okay. So in while loop we only have the test expression. That suppose in the previous example for printing numbers from 0 to 9. So int I is equal to 0. I should be less than 10. Actually, I should be less than 10. And this is the loop body that needs to be executed. And here I have got I plus plus. So this is our typical while loop loops. Now coming to the third and the most and one of the last important part of loops is the do while loop. So this is basically the syntax of the do while loop, not three actually, it's two I guess. Yeah. So this is the part of the do while loop. So do and then the loop body starts. So this is the body of the loop and this is the test expression that should be written inside while. So this is how, and all the initialization should be done outside. So one will be done outside, and updatation should also be done inside the loop as well. Three. So this is actually the syntax of the do while loop. So for the previous example, suppose I write int I is equal to 0, I plus plus, and here while I less than 10 maybe. So here what happens, suppose the loop body over here, let me make it printf I. So even if this particular condition evaluates to false, this loop body is executed once, as this is an exit control loop. So the control will take part or come into play only after one execution of the body of the loop, because the loop, that is the program flow runs like this. So this is the method of the exit control loop. Now let me write a full-fledged code to summarize all of our learnings into one single code. Okay, so I start hash include stdio dot h, and then I write int main. It's like the way we write every time. Int I is equal to 0. Now I'll be displaying a for loop over here. So for I is equal to 0, I should be less than 10, I should be plus plus. So here if I write printf I, and here I'll write return 0. And now I'm gonna save it. Now I'll be going to the directory, that particular directory in which it has been saved. Set compile loop.c. So here I'll copy this whole code once again, the whole path actually. So cmd cd space v, and now if I write gcc and then loop dot c minus o and jello dot exe. So okay, I just made an error over here. So gedit loop. Oh, sorry, gedit is not supported in Windows again. So I need to get back to the good old notepad. And here I'll do modulus g comma, and I guess that should fix all the other errors that are here. So jello.exe. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is the output because I did not put no, the so-called /n. Now if I run, let me see what I get. So 0 to 9. Why? Why not 10? Because I should be less than 10. So moment I becomes 10, so it becomes I equal to 10, so it stops. So this is an example of a for loop. Now coming to the example of a while loop. I'll just edit this code a bit, tweak around this code a bit. So I'll get all the answer to the questions. While I less than 10, and the updatation should also be done here. So I plus plus. So again I'll be executing it. So 0 to 9 again, but the only difference is that this is being executed by a while loop. Okay. So here only I have got the test expression over here, and that's all. The body of the loop is inside this, and the initialization and updation all inside, all in different places actually. Now coming to the last example, that is the do while loop. First I'll be doing a simple do while loop, and then I'll be doing the true example of the exit control do while loop. So while I less than 10, so printf this, and now if I run this again, what happens? Let me see. So can I get it? Now coming to the example of this as a, how can I explain this as an exit control loop? That's the biggest question. For I is equal to 0 while I greater than 10. Okay. So we know from our mathematics that I is greater than 10, and over here I is equal to 0. Okay. So I'll be printing, so let me print it once again to show you that yes, everything is happening in the right pattern. The only difference is here that the exit control loop. So we know that I is equal to 0 over here. Okay, and it is there, and 0 is getting printed over here, and I plus plus means 0 will get incremented to 1. So 1 will get printed, and we know that 1 or 0, none of them are greater than 10. So this condition evaluates to false anyhow, irrespective of what is written here, what is printed here. Okay, still let us run the code and let's see whether if we get any errors or not, as is a exit control loop. Now if I write yellow, so 0 1 is first printed. So as this is an exit control loop, we get that freedom to run the body of the loop at least once, even if the test expression evaluates to false. So this was a perfect example of that, I guess. And I guess this completes all the doubts whichever everyone has regarding the do while loop. But when I do this in while loop, while I should be greater than 10, print up this, and in that case I don't have. Oh, yeah, so if I run this, then what happens? Let's see. So no code is printed. Why? Because this condition, this test condition evaluates to false even before entering the loop body. So this was all for that was all for today's loop session. Now in the classes to come, I'll be sometimes talking about these loops once again. So this is one of the most important parts of C once again. So this is one of the mandatory subjects to be taught, mandatory topics to be taught in the traditional C class. So that was all for today. So thank you and have a nice day.